Welcome to the Texas Signal. I have the pleasure here today of being joined by Nyanza Moore, who is running for, you got that?
Yes, you got it.
Okay.
More importantly.
Running for Congress in the 22nd District in the Houston area.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So we're in our offices here, and the day after President Trump sends out some racist tweets.
Were they racist?
Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, of course I can believe it.
I know people are all up in arms.
No, why are they up in arms?
Because they're like,
that's what
shocked.
They voted for.
Right.
That's what they voted for. That's what his base voted for. That very same rhetoric. You can package it any kind of way you want to. He's shoring up his base. He is trying to win re-election. He's going to say things that will incite the people. The people meaning the people that support him at its core. The people that are now going online on social media and on radio stations and calling in, defending his words and agreeing with him, saying, yes, go back. The problem is, back to where? I don't know, except for one of those congresswomen who came here 12 years ago. Where would everybody else go? Back to Ohio?
The state.
Back to Michigan?
Yeah. Back
to the birthing center called America?
What do the Democrats do about it?
Nothing.
When?
Listen. Here's the problem I have. The Democrats are known to major in the minor. Worried about things that don't matter. I knew that trigonometry only mattered so much. I knew I was going to be a lawyer since I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I just needed to be able to count my billable hours and count how much money it was going to cost me to go to law school. I didn't necessarily need trigonometry. So I wasn't going to major in math to go to law school. Mm-hmm. Democrats are majoring in the minor. They're focused on the wrong thing. This is a distraction. And I always talk about focus. You have to have laser focus. If the goal is to get a Democrat elected president, whichever 500 of the Democrats it would be, hell, it might be me. Maybe I'll just run from the floor. But
do it.
They need to stop focusing on what does not matter. Words can hurt you, but they roll off. Obama said, brush that off your shoulder. Remember that? Everybody forgot? He's of the birther movement. Of course he doesn't think black people belong here. He didn't think our president should have been the president because he didn't think our president was American because he was born in Hawaii.
What then does matter for you running in this seat? Healthcare.
Healthcare matters because, and that's the one thing, and I wish that Democrats would remember, that the reason why we flipped 40 seats in the House is because of healthcare. That is the single common denominator. That's the great equalizer. You cannot do anything to stop death, but you can try to impede its progress as long as possible. Everyone has healthcare issues or knows somebody with healthcare issues. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are, because it doesn't matter if the doctors don't have the capacity or the science behind their ability to help you. It doesn't matter if you have insurance or not. But for all of us who are just trying to make it, our healthcare costs are crushing us. And that's why we won, because it was crushing the Republicans. It was crushing the Democrats and the independents and the liberals. It was crushing the people who don't vote. When it crushes you at every level, where now I'm a product of the 70s, I'm taking care of my mom. My dad is deceased. My sister's deceased. I have one sister left. Healthcare crippled our family. I'm a lawyer without health insurance. And I'm a capitalist.
Right.
So what does that say? That means I would like to be able to grow my business without having to suffer under the crushing blows of healthcare. Like, I can't afford my own healthcare insurance. And thank God, in Jesus' name, because I am a Christian, that I married a good man with great benefits through his employer. Because now I can spend the money paying higher salaries to people that work for me.
Right. Why are you running for Congress?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't think there was a need for me to run any other time.
No, there's a need.
Yeah, there's a need now because the Democrats that I voted for all lost. They kept losing every time I voted for them. And I voted in every primary and every general. They kept losing. But now that Pete Olson in my district, he wants to, his main mantra was repealing and replacing Obamacare. But after 8 years, you had no replacement when it came time. Which means, Pete Olson, you were there since 2009. In 9 years, you couldn't even come up with one sheet of paper that could say, here's a plan. Nothing. So if you don't have a plan, then here's the problem. My sister had a traumatic brain injury caused by hospital negligence. 16 years before her death. She was just like me. She went in because she was dehydrated to Arlington Memorial in Arlington, Texas, which is where I lived. And she got a double shot of potassium from a nurse who forgot to check out the box on the charge sheet that she had already given my sister the first shot of potassium. And my sister's heart stopped. She flatlined twice. She was so young and healthy at the time, other than that her doctor ran down the hall and jumped on top of her and starts beating her chest with his fist. Fractured her ribs, but brought her heart back. But unfortunately, her brain didn't come back. The traumatic brain injury that she suffered from being under for so long caused her to lose her ability to eat, to chew, to swallow, to have any type of short-term memory. You can't walk, you can't talk. You're only 33 years old. And now your aging parents have to pay out of pocket to care for their adult daughter, who thankfully wasn't married and didn't have any children. But the out-of-pocket expenses for trying to care for an adult, when that was not the plan for your life, when my mom had just retired from being an educator. She retired and had to go into full caregiver mode, she and my dad. My dad had to work an extra 10 years for the federal government because he couldn't afford to retire because he needed the benefits. Unfortunately, the government, even though my dad at the time was a veteran of the Vietnam War, served in the Air Force, he volunteered to go to Vietnam as a black man without the right to vote. He didn't get drafted. He went by choice because even though America had problems, my dad was like, hey, it doesn't matter what's going on here. This is my country. I don't have anywhere else to go back to. So if my country's up in arms against another country, this is all I know, so I'm going to fight. So my dad comes back home and graduates from college on the GI Bill, but unfortunately for my dad, things weren't all good at home. He worked for the federal government and retired and was denied his full benefits from the VA when he was diagnosed with stage 4 gallbladder cancer, right after he buried his firstborn child. That was 2.5 years ago. So my sister's buried 2.5 years ago. My dad gets his diagnosis right after that. He's denied his benefits. I volunteer at the VA. That's what I do. I could be a rich lawyer by now. But instead, I'm like, you know what? Other people need help. I got enough right now because I don't have to shell out out of my pockets for healthcare because my husband takes care of me. But whenever you have elderly parents and VA benefits not being distributed to the people who really are the first responders, that's the reason for me to run. My sister and my dad are the healthcare crisis in my family. And my mom is a breast cancer survivor. Our whole family is screwed. It's too late for me to do anything for my dad, too late for my sister. They're gone. I have one sister left. Now I've got 2 kids of my own. If something happens to my husband and I have to figure out a way to pay, I couldn't even afford to pay Cobra. Cobra was too expensive. I need the government to provide insurance and still let me have the option to keep my husband's insurance.
So that begs the question, if you were in Congress today, would you want to fix the Affordable Care Act? Where are you on?
I want to fix
policy?
it.
Okay.
So I don't want to.
As opposed to Medicare for all, these other presidential candidates.
Listen, those presidential candidates can say whatever they want to say. They have to worry about the entire country. I know for me personally, what affected my family, I love having private insurance through my husband's employer. It's fantastic. I like having the option of being 80-20 or 90-10 or depending on whatever I think my needs would be. And the older I get, the more long-term care I feel like I'm going to need in the future because I've already seen it happen to my family. I already know that cancer may be a part of my life.
Right.
It already has been. So I don't want to take away the option for me to be able to use private insurance. But I want those people who don't have the option, like those single moms that want to leave that man that's beating them or for whatever reason that has to go on their own and doesn't want to simply stay in a bad marriage because you need healthcare benefits or because you can't afford to live on your own. Those women, those people who have had things happen to them that happen to Americans every day need some type of government insurance to cover them. But we also need the option to cover ourselves. We can't make it one-stop shop for all.
Do you think Pete Olson is he ignoring healthcare? What is he doing for the people of the district that you live in?
He's not doing shit. And I don't curse on any recorded anything. I don't post curse words. I've never used foul language on Fox 26 News ever.
You can't hear.
But that's exactly what he's doing. Yeah. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. If from 2009 until today, you're still saying, I want to repeal the Affordable Care Act, you have not come up with a plan, Mr. Olson, and you're a lawyer as well. You are a veteran. You were a pilot, I thought. You voted against the Coast Guard being able to receive back pay when they were furloughed and were forced to work right off Galveston. How can you vote against people receiving back pay that had to be forced to go to work? You don't want to have affordable health care. You haven't come up with a plan in 9 years. 9 years of no plan. None of the Republicans came up with a plan. But you have a problem with every single person out there who says, Medicare for all. That's good for all. If you want to have Medicare for all in addition to something else that I can choose on my own.
Other issues that were likely to come up in this campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Healthcare is your big one. It's a big one for Texas, given the state of our healthcare in this state.
1 in 7 don't have coverage here.
Right, highest uninsured in the nation. Immigration.
Okay.
Hot issue right now.
Mm-hmm.
Migrant detention camps. Border security, though, is very important to. I can't speak to
it's
the
important
folks
to
in
me.
your district.
Border security is important to me.
Why?
As well, here's the thing. I'm not for open borders. I'm here. I'm all for people who are coming to this country to genuinely seek asylum, but we don't know if they're here to genuinely seek asylum until we talk to them. If we arrest them first, then they're going to say whatever they need to get out of handcuffs and to be reintroduced to their children when they're separated at the border.
Right.
There has to be a process in place. I'm not for building a wall. We need smart technology. Why would I bring a flip phone to a border crisis when I can have a 10X, whatever you call it? I mean, it makes no sense. Are you going to bring Atari or Sega Genesis to the border crisis? No. You're going to bring the Xbox. I'm sorry.
So border security.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans say that Democrats are for open borders. They also say there were socialists, as we talked about before we started.
You know what? They're right. Hey. Sometimes they're right. Here's the thing. I am 46 years old, and I'm not ashamed of it because I'm still breathing, which means I'm winning. So at 46 years old, if I've been voting ever since I was 18, when I was 18, I was broke, like most 18-year-olds are. Mm-hmm. We don't realize how broke we are, but when you're eating sardines, you're broke. And when I became a lawyer, I was unbroke. And then I was still a Democrat. Because my dad explained to me when I got my first check, and my mom explained to me, I was like, Daddy, I'm rich. I don't want to be a Democrat anymore. I want to save my money. I want to be a Republican. My dad said, hold on. That's not the point. The point is not about your taxes. It's about making sure that because you have become successful, that you remember that you weren't always successful. And that there are some people who need a break. So you need to contribute that high tax base that you have now back into what will help other people be able to reach their goals like you did. And I said, but I don't understand what you're talking about, but that's my money. I don't understand why I have to share with people I don't know. I was only, 22 at the time. But I said, well, here's the reason. Because you like the library that you go to? I was like, yeah. He said, so the public library that your mom was taking you to all summer long from elementary school to when you graduated, that's socialized. I said, what is that? He was like, it's free, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Do you like when the firemen come to your house and save it from burning down? I said, yeah. He said, well, that's socialized. I said, okay, I get what you're saying. He said, do you like when the police come when you dial 911? That's socialized. He said, so if everything that you like and everything that you take for granted is being paid for by taxpayers like you and me, that's to help other people so we don't have to pay for it out of our own pockets. You like the bridges and the highways? All of that is what we contribute to the pot. So why not contribute other things to other people? Now that you have more, you should contribute more because you have more. I said, okay, I get it. So I'm a Democrat. But I'm not a socialist. So I'm okay with certain things being socialized because that's the way we need to be to make sure all Americans have a shot. But I'm a capitalist with a capital C. I don't have any problem with people getting rich. That's why we have a lottery in Texas that's legal, even though you can't gamble in Texas, but you play the lottery. People like capitalism. Capitalism is the reason why we created the internet in the United States. Facebook is here. Instagram is here. Amazon is here. Capitalism, all of that, the Rockefellers. What's wrong with it? I don't know anybody who ever said, I want to live in my car. I don't even know anybody who ever said, I'm okay with being homeless. Mother Teresa gave away all of her money, but she was rich. She came from a wealthy family.
What's your plan for the rest of the year on the campaign trail?
Well, on the campaign trail, funny you should ask that. For the rest of the day, first of all. For the rest of the year on the campaign trail, I need for people to hear my message and what differentiates me from the other people in my race.
What's your message?
And, you know, my issue is, of all of the candidates that are running, that I've heard from, that are coming out to run in this primary in the Democratic side, I've heard your stories, but it's not your story. Your story is not your personal story. You can have a story that you want to grab from a headline. You can do what you think is the right thing to talk about criminal justice reform. I get that. You want to talk about immigration. I get that. But healthcare is what differentiates me and the other candidates. And on my healthcare has allowed me to be able to be endorsed by Congressman Hank Henry Johnson, in a Democrat in Georgia. So I've also gotten State Representative Alma Allen to endorse me, the Run Sister Run PAC to endorse me. And they don't know anything about me. They only had one time to meet me and hear what my story was and hear the why behind why I'm running. It really does matter. I'm not doing this politically. This is personal. If I don't win this fight, I'm not be like, well, what, I need to just muster back up and run again. No, I don't. If I don't win and another Democrat wins, good. Because that means that Democrat, if they're saying what they're going to do, Trump is doing everything he said he was going to do. Nothing he said he was going to do has he not tried to do. So his base is happy. If the Democratic base gets health care and we get a Democrat in this, well, it's going to be me. I mean, we already know that I'm going to win. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to win. I'm going to be on the ticket for the general. I have no doubt. I can say that because I know that the messaging for District 22 is different from the messaging in the Bronx. It's different from we have $96,000 as the median income for people that live in District 22. We are 57% white, college-educated Republican in District 22. If all of the Democrats and independents combined voted for a Democrat, the Democrats still wouldn't win. Those numbers just don't add up. So when the numbers don't add up, you need to make sure that you are the type of candidate that's not just based on party lines, but the type of candidate that both sides could get behind. I don't dislike Republicans. I get it. I get that there are some conservative issues out there that I agree with. I'm with you on the taxes. I want my business to grow. I want my taxes to stay low. I'm a capitalist, not a socialist. I don't want to build a wall. I want to buy more drones. You know, I want to make sure we fix this healthcare crisis. I want my private insurance, but I also want healthcare for all. Those are simple things. 1 + 1 is 2. I do want women to receive equal pay for equal work because this stuff is not fair when they don't. I mean, I want transgenders to have equal rights in the military. It's stupid. I don't even allow my daughter to say the word stupid. We don't say that. It's stupid to tell people that have been fighting for this country that all of a sudden, because of who you love or because of what you're doing, whatever, in your privates, you can't be in the military anymore. That's dumb. I mean, and the fact that people are like going along with it, that's what we should be marching in the streets for. Equal rights for everybody. Because I'm Black. I don't even say woman of color. Because woman of color encompasses all women of color. All women of color is not the same as Black. The other women of color came here by choice. They immigrated to this country. Black women were brought here as slaves and helped build this country. So Black women are the highest demographic, most powerful voting bloc in the country. 98% of all college-educated Black women vote, period. And we mostly vote for Democrat. 98% of the Black women who voted for Hillary Clinton, a Democrat. So if, as a Black woman, immigration is my fight, but also from my standpoint is I'm fighting for people to be able to come here by choice. When my background says we were drug here. So when you tell people to go back to where they came from, well, are you going to send us back with a check? Because if you want us to go back from Africa, we don't know those people over there. And they don't know us either. And so we don't have anywhere else to go back to, especially when we gave 400 years of free labor to build Washington, D.C. 400 years of free labor to build this entire country without a 40 acres and a mules in reparations. And now when we talk about reparations, people act like it's a dirty word. Why not? Jewish people got reparations. Why not? Vietnamese people got reparations. Why can't the Black people? I'm okay with it, but I mean, I want to be able to, now that if I'm not going to get reparations, can I just be a capitalist at least and be able to thrive?
Oh, definitely want you back.
Do you? I didn't scare you away?
No. I want you back tomorrow.
You do? Okay.
No, but we'll, but.
Oh, pedos. I see you have pedos in 10 long years. Honey, listen.
You want to talk
they
about
say,
him?
let me talk about Beat Pete.
Here we
This
go.
is okay. So at the beginning of my campaign, I didn't have a slogan. We sat around and thought, what should we do? And and let me tell you something. I'm not anti-Trump. I'm just anti-dumb. And I think that the things that he does are dumb. You know, I when he said build that wall, I was like, he's got a catchy tune there. You think he's going to try to really do it? And then all of a sudden, one day I said at one of my talks, I said, you know what? I'm the only one who can beat Pete. And it rhymed. I was like, hashtag beat Pete. So he has 10 long years. Pete, I don't even know if you're running again. I heard that the racist Sheriff Nels is going to be running in your spot. Did I say racist? Well, that's what people call him. I don't really know him personally. But I saw what he did to a white woman who had a bumper sticker on her car that said expletive Trump, and he didn't like it, so he arrested her. When did Republicans stop fighting for freedom of speech? I thought that was like our protected right. That's number one. Number two is, arms, right to bear arms. I mean, come on. Do we forget about number one? Just go straight to number two. Come on now. Sheriff Nels, I'm waiting for you.
Thank you all for joining us.